Facts Only Test Prep.
Welcome to Facts Only Test Prep. We're called Facts Only because we give you everything you need and nothing you don't when it comes to the SAT. So please enjoy the next video.
Basic functions.
Functions are a big part of the SAT math section, so much so that we've actually broken this into a couple different videos. One of them is specifically about graphs, but what I wanted to get you started with was how to handle functions in basic form. They're no different than regular equations, but a lot of the time I'll work with a student and he'll say or she'll say, don't those parentheses mean multiply? I hate the notation. It just feels like there's too much going on. And when that web of characters shows up on the page, it can paralyze us on the day of the test. I don't want that to happen to you here, so we're going to take a look at some of the characteristics of functions that will allow you to not only do well on the test, but to really master this portion of it. Before we get into the tests and the sections and the question numbers that we'll be tackling, I want to go over some basic ideas when it comes to functions. Basic notation is something like this: y equals f of x. What that means is that you have some y value over here that is determined by some x value inside the parentheses here. For the purposes of the SAT, whatever is inside of those parentheses is always, always, always your x value. Whatever happens outside of the parentheses is either your y value itself or it has something to do with the y value. For instance, f of 7 equals 19 means that your x value is 7 and your y value is 19. You might not be sure of how you got there, and the test might not tell you how you got there, but f of 7 equals 19 means that you have an x 7, which is giving you a y 19. Here's a really simple function that I've put together. F of x equals 5x plus 6. This means that if I put any value in for x, let's say 2 in the parentheses, then wherever else I have an x, I should put a 2. So if f of x equals 5x plus 6, then f of 2 equals 5 times 2 plus 6, and we would say that f of 2 equals, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 6 is 16. And in this case, my x value would be 2, and my f of x value, or my y value, is 16. So I'm sure you've seen that. I remember, even as a young tutor, being kind of thrown by this, like, how am I going to charge people for money when I've forgotten how to do function notation? Now when I see these, I'm a little bit grouchy that it took me as long as it did to master the notation. So stick with me through these 5 questions, and I think you'll feel much better about your own command of functions. Okay, here are the tests that you'll need. Test 4, section 3, number 4. Test 1, section 3, number 10. Test 2, section 4, number 10. Test 2, section 4, number 33. And test 3, section 4, number 4. Pause the video, go to factsonlytestprep.com, click on the links to those tests if you need them. Let's get started with test 4, section 3, number 4. If f of x equals negative 2x plus 5, what is f of negative 3x equal to? Well, you saw it in my own example that whatever is in the parentheses can be substituted for. And whatever we substitute for x over here, we will substitute for x over here. So this is as simple as substituting negative 3x for x, and we'll have negative 2 times negative 3x plus 5. Negative 2 times negative 3x is positive 6x, plus 5 is plus 5. 6x plus 5 is our answer, which means that B is correct, right? Simple substitution. This is test 1, section 3, number 10. G of x equals ax squared plus 24. This is where students start to get thrown. Got a lot of letters, maybe not enough numbers, but let's look at what they're giving us and what we can use. They're telling us that g of 4 equals 8. That means that our g of x value, our y value, is simply 8. The 4 that's in the parentheses is our x value. So we can say that 8 equals a times 4 to the second power plus 24. There's a shortcut to this too. I'm going to show you at the end of this question. 8 equals 16a plus 24. Subtract 24, subtract 24. Negative 16 equals 16a. So a equals negative 1. Now, when they say what is the value of g of negative 4, remember, if it's inside the parentheses, it's an x value. So I'm going to put negative 4 into this function and see what I get out when my a is negative 1 and my x is negative 4. Negative 1 times negative 4 squared plus 24. This is negative 1 times, let's see, negative 4 squared, that's negative 4 times negative 4. That's positive 16 plus 24. Negative 1 times 16 is negative 16 plus 24 is just 8. So A is your answer. Now you might have looked at this and noticed that the x value was being squared in both cases. And so it doesn't matter if you're taking a 4 or a negative 4 and squaring it, you're still getting a positive 16, which is why 8 was the answer when we used g of 4 or g of negative 4. Yeah, that's true. But it's not true all of the time, or I should say that you won't always have an exponent that allows you to do that, which is why I gave you the long version of this. Let's look at another one. This is test 2, section 4, number 10. A function satisfies f of 2 equals 3. So here they're saying that when you put in x of 2, when you have an x of 2, you get a y of 3. F of 3 equals 5. That means when your x is 3, your y is 5. A function g satisfies g of 3 equals 2. When your x is 3, your y is 2. G of 5 equals 6. When your x is 5, your y is 6. What is the value of f of g of 3? Okay, again, a lot of parentheses, a lot of letters. This is where students want to start multiplying. Don't. First of all, if they said like if they wanted to say multiply, they would just say fg. They wouldn't put the parentheses there. They would take the two letters, put them next to each other, and that's how you would know that you would have to multiply. We already know that g of 3 equals 2. So I'm going to rewrite f of g of 3 as f of 2. Do they tell us what f of 2 is? Man, they kind of do. F of 2 equals 3. That means that B is your answer. How easy is that? Now, this is question 10, which means that it's getting into the middle of this particular section, but they're not testing you on how well you do the algebra. They're just testing you on if you can handle the notation. You can see how this is going to become a valuable skill set to have. Let's do two more of these. This next one is test 2, section 4, number 33. In the xy plane, the point 3, 6 lies on the graph of the function f of x equals 3x squared minus bx plus 12. What is the value of b? We're going to kind of work in reverse here. We know that our y value is 6, which means that we're going to put 6 in for f of x. So now we can say that 6 equals 3 times, what's our x value? Our x value is also, or is not also 3, is 3, which means we'll put it in place of all x's. So 6 equals 3 times 3 squared minus b times, and again, our x is 3. And then we have a constant of 12. So let's clean this up. 6 equals 3 times 3 squared. Let's see, 3 squared is 9. Times 3 is 27 minus b times 3. I should have called that 3b. In fact, let's do that. Minus 3b and plus 12. 6 equals 27. I'm going to combine like terms here. 27 and positive 12. 39 minus 3b. Let's subtract 39 from both sides. Negative 33 equals negative 3b. Divide both sides by negative 3. b equals 11. And you would bubble in the number 11 because this is in a free response section. I remind you every time that I have the opportunity, you'll never have a negative answer in the free response section. So if you do come up with like negative 11 as your answer, and you're looking for the negative sign to bubble in, and you're like, I don't know where the negative sign is. Remember that you can't have a negative. Double check your work. Might just be a positive answer. Wouldn't that be nice? All right, one more. This is test 3, section 4, number 4. They give us a table here, which means, again, a lot of different values. And then we have these 4 functions. Seems challenging. All we need to do is remember that we have an input value, which is an x, and an output value, which is a y. And we're going to put these values into each function everywhere that we see an n. And we should get these corresponding f of n values once we've evaluated the function for the given n value. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If we look at answer choice A, we're given that f of n equals n minus 3. That means that our f of n in the first column, negative 2, should be equal to n, or in this case, 1 minus 3. Is it true that negative 2 equals 1 minus 3? Yes. Does that mean that A is the answer? No, because all 4 columns need to be true for answer choice A to be correct. Let's try another one. Is it true that 1 equals 2 minus 3? Well, 2 minus 3 is negative 1, so that's not true, so A cannot be the answer. I'm going to try a different color as we evaluate B so that we don't get confused. B, f of n equals 2n minus 4. Let's see, is it true that negative 2 equals 2 times 1 minus 4? Negative 2 equals 2 minus 4? Yeah, that works. Let's try another one of these. Is it true that 1 equals 2 times 2 minus 4? Well, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. That's not true. B can't be the answer. Let's try another one. C, f of n equals 3n minus 5. I'm going to start speeding this up a little bit because now you should have the hang of it. Is it true that negative 2 equals 3 times 1 minus 5? 3 minus 5 is negative 2. That's good. Is it true that 1 equals 3 times 2 minus 5? 3 times 2 is 6, minus 1 is 5. Good. Is it true that 4 equals 3 times 3 minus 5? 3 times 3 is 9, minus 5 is 4. Is it true that 7 equals 3 times 4 minus 5? 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. All 4 of those do the work that we need them to, so C is our answer. Real quickly, I'll show you why D is not. Let's see. Is it true that negative 2 equals 4 times 1 minus 6? Yes. Is it true that 1 equals 4 times 2 minus 6. No, D can't be your answer. Again, C is your answer. We've got other videos about more complicated functions and graphs, so be aware of those. But in the meantime, try your muscle memory with these. Do this a couple of times until you're confident with it. Good luck, everybody. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure that you like us and subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll get information on the new videos as soon as they're available. It helps us a lot. Also, visit us at factsonlytestprep.com. That's where you'll find links to the tests that I use in my lessons, along with some other resources that we prepared for you. Thanks and good luck.